The whole question that I was sprinter or long distance skater is a difficult question for me to answer. So I started on quad and too noisy. So the point I was telling was I started in quad as a sprinter as there wasn't much events to skate on and all of them were short events and obviously I had to be a sprinter. From then I shifted to inline in 2010 and that's when there was an option of racing in long distance events and short distance. So that's when it started. So I did choose one long distance event, but it was primarily a sprint event. I was primarily focused on racing sprint events, and then the unexpected happened. So finished the workout I set for myself. So in 2010 when I did shift to inline, I did continue as a sprinter as I was in quads. So that eventually transformed into me being really good at the 300 meters. And to be frank, there was one of my teammates at that point of time was the best at that point in the nation in our particular age group, and we were of the similar age. And things didn't go well, and I was really confident in myself performing as a sprinter. But I think this is somewhere around in November or December 2010, when it was our district trials, it was happening in Bangalore. I was on my way to the practice, and I met with an accident. So the accident was a big one for me. God forbid that nothing bad actually happened, but it was bad enough to affect me skating. So what happened was, at a particular junction, I was a pillion, and one of my brother was taking me to the practice, and I was late. So I was late, and we were speeding a bit, and so at the particular junction where a car from the left banged our rear wheel, and it just threw me off over 10 feet up in the air, and I fell on my ass. And at that point of time, I had bruises all over my body, but nothing happened to me. And then I went home, got myself some first aid, and then I went back to the practice again. But the part was, I couldn't bend. I couldn't get down to the skating position to skate. So, as I was telling, I couldn't bend, I couldn't skate, I couldn't get into the skating position and skate. So it had hurt my tailbone because I fell on my ass. So I had to pick 3 events in the district trials. First event was a short distance event, second was a long distance, and the third was on a road, or was a road race. So the first event was the short distance, 300 meters, which I was really confident in performing. It was 2 days from the accident. I tried to push myself through the pain and tried to perform, and I was really confident in getting the first place because I knew that I had trained well. But things didn't go well, alright. So I finished third. I still remember this so vividly. I'm crying because this is something I really expected out of myself, because I did train really hard for it in my first year on inline. I still remember it so vividly that my mom came up to me and I was crying. My mom was like, "No problem, you had a bad accident and you'll be fine." And I remember telling this to my mom, whereas I told my mom saying that, "Mom, I'm sorry that I couldn't perform this year. I think this year I'll not be able to go to the nationals because this is my favorite event, my major event, and I couldn't perform. I got a third place. I think this year I'll not get selected." And my mom just told me that, "Ankit, you have 2 more events. You did get a medal here. That means that you are still in the contender to get selected to the state championship." So she told me this, and I thought, yeah, I have 2 more events. Why to worry about it? So I just went on. I did get selected to state. So what happened was, according to the trials rules and regulation, the third place event, instead of that event, they gave me another long event that was point to point. So I ended up going to the states with all long events, and I did perform well. It was not at all a disappointing performance. Instead, I did get selected to national with the same 3 events. So that is how I got into skating long distance, and I think till the previous year that I skated on, I was completely a long distance skater. So to the question if I'm a sprinter or long distance skater, I'm quite focused on being a sprinter as of now. But I truly believe, like, I follow people like Joey Montier and other skaters who are like best in the world. They were a combination of both a sprinter and long distance skater back when they were skating, but I don't know today if that's possible. But again, I want to be a well-rounded skater who can skate any event given to him, like probably Bart Swings, who's doing pretty amazing job at performing at both. As a sprinter, he's pretty good at sprints as well as he's the long distance king. So yeah, so I just want to make sure that I'm a well-rounded skater. And to be frank, all skating races, as a speed skater, you'll be able to sprint because that is where the race is decided. At each and every, there is a long distance skater, you need to be able to sprint. So yeah, so again, This is a very weird question to ask yourself if you're a long distance or a short distance skater, but the answer is you got to be a well-rounded skater. You need to be able to perform sprint, but sprint again, it's an integral part of skating. So you got to sprint, and I think I can do. I think I'll make sure that I train myself enough that any event given to me any point of day, I'll be able to do it. So that's my goal. So let's see. I'm ending this vlog here. If you did like it, like, share, and subscribe, guys. Show me some love. Let's see how things go further from now. Thanks. See you.